All right. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. This is Aver's Interactive Panel CP Series live webinar. My name is Sung Wang with Aver Information. I hope you guys can all see me. Today I'll be going over some great stuff with our interactive flat panel, the CP series. And if it's your first time joining me today, I want to welcome you to our webinar series where I go over all these different features and specs and kind of a bunch of different things you can do with our panel. And if you're returning and you've seen it before, thanks so much for coming back. But really quick, I'll just go over a brief overview of the panel first, and then I'll dive deep into our whiteboard software because I know this webinar series for today is kind of diving deeply more on the software of our whiteboard and like the different things that you can do with it. If you guys have any questions throughout the webinar or demonstration, go ahead and type on the live chat. I'll be very interactive with the live chat. And at the end, if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad and more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have for me. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is our new CP series. This is a 75-inch model. We have 3 different models available, 65, 75, and 86-inch, all great for presenting, all great for education if you're a teacher or presenter, or you want to use this type of panel to do some types of training. I know there's a lot of different companies who could use this in different training sessions that they use with their employees and stuff. So many different multi-uses for our great panel here. And it comes out of the box preloaded with our Android software. So just imagine it just being like a giant Android tablet where you can install different types of APKs on it and different types of apps. And so if you're familiar with Android tablet or Android phone, this will be very easy for you to learn and use. So when I go home, as soon as you plug it in, turn it on, set it up, out of the box, it's not confusing at all. You don't even need a manual or anything. You turn it on, you'll see this, and you'll be very, accustomed to it. On the bottom here, you see we got the Android functions, basic Android functions. You got your web browser, our whiteboard software, the all apps, file manager if you want to plug in like USB drives for rural storage, the app switch, and of course source buttons. We give you an option to have 5 different HDMI inputs actually. On this side right here, you see we have a bunch of USB connections and front panel connections to connect to a different source or laptop. We know teachers like to use their own devices sometimes, whether they have like Chromebooks, laptops, even Mac. They can plug in HDMI cable and USB Type B cable to enable the touch function on the computer. I actually have my laptop connected to this thing in the back, so that's absolutely great because then I can use the touch functions. I'll show you that at the end of the webinar after I go through the whiteboard. And then check this out. You got arrows on the left and right hand side, and this allows you to pull up and recall the quick Android functions. This lets you, go home, return to the previous screen, do annotations over whatever source you're viewing. And here, this is where like we got all those different sources that I showed you. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see. So check it out. You got 4 different types of HDMI here. These are on the back. One in the front. You have an option to plug in an OPS, which is like an optional computer that you put in the back. And then you got all these older displays like VGA, AV, composite. I'm not sure if you guys still use those type of source connections, but we give you that option just in case. All right. So now we're pretty much going to go ahead and dive deep into our whiteboard software. So right here, whiteboard. So you press this, and this is where teachers and presenters are going to be spending most of their time with this software. If you're not using like another computer, if you're just planning to use just the Android system, this is probably where you're spending a lot of time because this whiteboard software is exceptional. It's great. Like I love it. You can do so many different things on here, and you'll just see how many different possibilities and options I have. But in this demo, let's pretend I'm like a teacher. I'm presenting a class. I'm teaching like a kindergarten class, teaching a lesson about shapes. Okay, so let's open up this whiteboard software, and right away I have an option to add a new page, kind of like Microsoft Office. I can import a PDF note or default note. But but I want to make things organized and start from the very beginning. So I want things to be organized, and I want to create a new class, new folder. And so I can do so on this left-hand side, creating a new notebook, which is creating like a new folder. So I'll create a new folder, and I'll name this shapes. Okay, because this is my lesson for today. I'm teaching shapes. Hope you guys see this. It might be a little glare from the lights. Okay, so I created this new type of folder here. And now I'm going to select it. And now we're in a brand new folder where we can add whatever we want. So I'm going to go ahead and press this add button. And we're going to start a brand new note. Okay? And so here, I'm given like a whole ton of different backgrounds. So here I have like blank college rule paper. And at the top, you can see that I can like change the different layouts that I have. So we import a bunch of different types of layouts for you, whether you want to graph paper, math and engineering, different types of angles for geometry, even stuff like music scores, and even like sports, where you have like basketball, football, hockey types of outlines. So even if you're a coach, and this is great for you because, you know, I know you have your traditional type of little paper board with your little magnets and all, but this, you can save every single plan and save it all on here and annotate over it. And we even have calendars and planners if you want to mount this and just have a giant interactive calendar. So you could definitely do that. For this sake, let's just add a white piece of paper. And now I'm going to title this note. And I can title this, this is going to be a lesson on what squares. So I'm going to name it squares. So I'm going to tell my class to, you know, draw a bunch of different squares on this panel. Over here, you have a whole bunch of different types of annotation tools. I can change the thickness of my pen, of course, and do things such as pencil or highlighter or the calligraphy pen. And the way we coded this whiteboard software, we wanted to make it as, you know, similar as to a regular whiteboard. So, you know, users who use this are very familiar with, you know, drawing on a whiteboard, and we wanted to be, you know, identical to it. So if I use this calligraphy pen and I write my strokes, you see that it starts off thick and it thins out towards, like, you know, the end, where it depends on like how much pressure I kind of write with the board. So if I start strong and end thin, it writes like that, just like a regular pen or when you write on a whiteboard. So I can go back on that. You can change different colors, so you have a whole bunch of different types of colors and stuff. So for this case, let's do this pink one, and then I can draw this square. So there's a little square like that. Well, then the cool thing is that I can, you know, select this thing and I can move it around. I can resize it, so it's very flexible and free. And then I can even change like the different stroke thickness as well as the color of it. So I could change it to then a purple one. And I could also, like, you know, do things such as copy and paste it. So I can copy it here, and then I can start a new page just by adding that. And then I can just paste it here. But just by going here and doing paste, and there we go. And I can paste it again if I wanted to, or delete it. So that's my little square lesson. But the best thing of all is that you can pretty much insert and edit previous lessons that you've already created. So if I have like a PDF drive or some type of lesson plan as a teacher, I can use a USB drive where I have my lesson and plug it in the media USB drive of the panel. And then it's loading up. And then I'm still in my shapes lesson, and I can go ahead and do this button, hold on to it, and I can do insert PDF. And I go into this is my USB drive, by the way, and I have some preloaded kind of PDF stuff. Let's do this lesson right here. So I can insert this PDF before or after this page. So I'll just do it after. So it's inserting this PDF, and now I got all the pages of that PDF lesson plan on here. And if I press this overview button, I can see all the different slides that I have on here. So that's really cool because it really neatly organizes everything, and you can jump to whatever page you want just by seeing it. But I think a really, really awesome thing is that if I go to like one of these pages, and I'll do some annotations. I'll just increase the thickness of this so you guys can see. I'll just trace this pretty horribly because I'm not very good at writing. Do a little circle here. Go to the next page. Here's my square. Little shape lesson. All right, now when I go to my overview page, I see the pages again, but now I see all my annotations. So everything that I just did, annotating through it, I can see live through this preview page with my annotations. So it's a really neat and really kind of awesome thing. If I want to start a brand new page, I can go ahead and just go back. Let's start another lesson within Shapes. So I'll do this, but this time I'll do import PDF. So I'll import this other PDF folder that I have of Shapes. So now I got this worksheet in my lesson, and it's telling me I got to do all these different things within the worksheet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It says like color the triangles red. So we're gonna grab red, start coloring these triangles. I'm not very good at drawing. So our screen uses an IR sensor where you can either annotate with either your finger or your included stylus. We give you 2 of these pens. So if I wanted to, I could use this pen to start, coloring in these triangles. Pretty bad at coloring. Okay, but you get the idea. There, we finish this worksheet, and I want to save it. I want to email it. I want to put it on Google Drive. I want to do whatever I want to. I want to put it on my USB drive. Very easily done. Just press this one, export. You see, export. You can choose export this page only or the entire PDF page, like the other lessons, the other pages that I had. So I'm just going to do this page only, share, and now you're able to save it to the device, whether it's your USB drive or SD card, or I can save it to the Android operating system, which is 16 gigabytes of memory, or I can do stuff such as email it or send it via Bluetooth if you have a Bluetooth adapter to another device. So you have many different types of options there, and it's exceptionally great. I can also add new pages with different backgrounds to this slide I have. So if I do new right here, I can choose the background. So let's choose, this time let's choose something different. Let's choose this grid paper. I can choose the size of it. So I do insert, and now I got this graph paper where I can now draw some triangles more neatly. So let's try to draw some better triangles. Of course, I can also change my annotation tool to a line to have straight lines instead of my terrible renditions of triangles there. So if I do this, I can draw a much straighter line for my triangle. And then I can do stuff such as copy and paste it. And now when I go overview, you see my first slide is that worksheet. Second slide is this graph paper. Let's continue on. Let's add a new page. This time I want to insert like a picture that I already have. So I could do choose image. And I got this picture that I have on my USB drive for previous lessons. Go ahead and select that thing. And boom, it just inserts that right into my lesson plan. And I can move this around, copy and paste it, resize it however I like. And I can be like, hey class, so here's the different shapes. Here are their different names. Color each one on your worksheet this color. So they can follow along and do that. And now when I click on this overview button, you see 1, 2, 3. It's that easy, and it's right there. And if I go back on the left-hand side, I go back, I'm in my shapes folder. I see that very first lesson plan that I created, and then my new lesson plan that I just started working on. And then, of course, you can always export it and do things, different actions. I can delete the whole page, clear the page, select all of them. So I can clear this whole page if I wanted to. I can go back to this page and say I want to copy this triangle. I can change my pen tool to a select tool, select this whole thing, copy it, and now I'll go to like a new page. Or let's go to this first page I have. I want to insert my triangle into here. I can go ahead and press paste, and here's my little triangle here. Here we go. See it? Okay, enlarge it, increase the depth of it so you guys can see better. There you go. There's my red triangle that I copy and pasted from my other lesson. So that's our premium whiteboard software. Many different types of functionalities, many types of possibilities. You can see where I'm going with this, how you can use it in the presentation, in a classroom, very, very neatly. But that's the basic gist of it and a kind of in-depth overview. A couple more things I want to go over in this webinar really quick. I know I mentioned it in other webinars before, but I always like to bring it up. Our panel always comes preloaded with our premium Sphere 2 software. And this is a software to connect our AVER document cameras. So it has seamless integration with our wireless AVER document cameras. And if you have any document cameras from AVER that are connected to the same network, you can connect to them very easily just by doing that. And so here I have our S70W connected, and it's our true wireless document camera. Let me fix this. I'm going to go ahead and press start. So here we got this beetle. It's kind of dark. Let's switch to a better looking thing. There we go. We got a butterfly now. Here we go. We got a butterfly. So this is our S70W, completely wireless. I can prove and show it to you. Zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. Completely wireless document camera. No wires attached. Connected and communicating with our IFP through our wireless network. And now within the Sphere 2 software, very similar to our Sphere 2 desktop app, our desktop software that if you're used to. And here I can do stuff, standard annotations, take snapshots, add shapes, tools, text. I can even change the camera functions of the settings of the camera through the software. So I can do stuff such as like rotate the image. I can zoom in and out. So it's a great software that's bundled and comes already pre-installed on our panel. It also supports that multi-touch as well, just like our whiteboard software. So that's kind of Sphere 2 in the gist. Here's a snapshot, and that saves onto the Android operating system. So that's it for that. Let's move that out of the way. And then we also give you, of course, it's Android, and you can install different applications if you have the APK file. So I just go to File Manager to access my USB drive. Go to SDA1, and here I have a bunch of APK files that I have on my little thumb drive. And I can go ahead and install which ones I want. Let's try Khan Academy. I think this is a popular one in school, so I can click on that, install, installing, running, and this is pretty much how easy it is to install third-party apps onto your panel. And of course, not every single app on the Google market is compatible with the panel because most of those applications are coded and programmed for smaller devices, phones, tablets, not really 86 or 75-inch panels, but a lot of them are compatible, such as this one. And we've tested many different types of apps, so of course this one is nice and good. So we can go to the math lesson and go through this kind of counting lesson right here.
Put 7 squirrels in the box. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3.
Panel also comes with 10-watt speakers. They're located right in the middle here. So 10-watt speakers right here. And they're actually pretty loud. I mean, there's not like any bass or anything, but they're very loud enough to fill up a classroom or room. You can also attach a sound bar to it, to the panel if you want louder sound. You just need that 3.5 millimeter connection. Last but not least, I will switch the source to, let's say, my computer, and that's on HDMI 1. So I change the source to here. Here I have the Here I have my Windows 10 from my laptop. Windows 10 is great on touchscreens because it supports a native multi-touch. But here I can go ahead and press and go on to open up an app that I have. It's got maps. It's my favorite thing to do. So check this out. I can click on this my location locator button, and then let's see. Let's go to aerial mode. Let's check this out. So I'm in Fremont, California, presenting and giving this live webinar to you guys right now at this location right here, at this black building. So you can see, check this out. We got Ava right here. So that's our building right here. And now remember how I said our panel comes with that Android operating system. It can be recalled at any time with the left or right arrows, no matter what source you're viewing. So click on this arrow. I'm having this little functions here. And now I can click on this overlay button that lets me annotate right here. So I have this annotation tool, and I can annotate no matter what source I'm viewing. So here I'm in Windows 10, but I'm using the Android functions to use my annotation and circle, hey, here's Aver. And I can take a snapshot of it and save it like that, either on my local or USB drive. So I can save it locally here, and I can exit here, and I can zoom out all the way. So let's zoom out all the way. Let's get a roll view going on. There we go. Oop. So here I'm in Alaska, and now I can pull up my overlay. This time I can either do it in blue or red. Circle stuff, circle the different highways or different cities or Gulf of Alaska here. Save it onto either my local disk or my USB drive. So many different options there. That pretty much concludes today's lesson and webinar on our Aver CP series. If you guys have any questions in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and answer any questions you guys have. So go ahead and throw it at me. So a question I have, can I upgrade the Android? So the Android actually comes with a 5.0 operating system, and it kind of just stays like that. You won't need to update the Android, but we do release commonly firmware updates to better improve the panel with the different specs of it. If I go to all apps, or if I go to settings, actually, you go to settings, you go to about, and this is where you can see, the Android operating system, the firmware version. So it's at Android 5.0. I think we want to keep it at 5.0, but we do come out with firmware updates for your panel. The cover glass and shield it's a tempered glass that's I believe it's very strong. It's a tempered glass that's anti-glare. That's the type of glass it is. The Windows 10 is, yes, the Windows 10 is connected from my laptop. So I have an HDMI cable and USB Type-B cable that's connected to the back of the panel, and that's how I'm connected to, that's how I pulled up like those maps and stuff. But also, you can connect in the front. So I'll show you that real quick again. Where'd my remote go? Right here. So you have a bunch of connections here. And if you got like a laptop Chromebook with Windows 10, all you gotta do is plug in 1-inch HDMI cable for the source. The other cable is your USB Type B cable, just like a printer cable, basically. This is your printer cable, USB Type B, and you just plug that in. And if you're wondering what that is, that enables a touch function on your panel. Can you use Chromecast? Absolutely. This thing has up to 5 different types of HDMI connections. So if you press on source, you see that I have all these different HDMI options I can change to. So if you have one of them for a Chromecast, definitely plug one of those in, the other one into the USB port to power it on, and it will work seamlessly and easily. As for Bluetooth, such as keyboards, absolutely. The panel in Android is compatible with both Bluetooth, especially if you have other devices or if you're using like a laptop connected to the panel. There's different pass-through USBs that lets you use a Bluetooth adapter. It doesn't have Bluetooth built into the panel, but if you just use a Bluetooth adapter, that can work. Let me zoom back into that port I had for you. So the media USB port goes to the Android, and then these PC USB ports, those are pass-through USBs if you have other devices, such as a computer or OPS connected. The OPS is pretty much a built-in computer that's installed in the back. It's pretty much like kind of like a Nintendo cartridge. You know, you just slide it in, and it's like that optional computer that you have, and that has like whatever operating system you want in it. Can you insert audio and video files in the presentations? Through that Whiteboard software, this software right here, I don't believe you can actually insert like audio files into it, but you can definitely do your PDFs and stuff. If you're looking to insert audio files and video files, I would recommend using our Windows software Mindshare that comes with every panel as well, but that's Windows based on Android, and you can definitely do so many different things on there. But that's a whole different webinar that I go over, and I'll do that in the future as well. I've gone over it before, but I'll do it again in the future. Can the presentations be created on the laptop instead of the screen? Absolutely. So if you have a teacher device, Chromebook, laptop, whatever teacher or presenter device you have, you can create it first, put on a USB drive, or have your computer connected, and then use it through here. And then also, I get a question a lot about Google Drive integration and stuff. The Whiteboard software itself doesn't have that Google Drive built in, because like there's no software out there right now that has that certification. But if you open up the pre-built-in browser in our panel, you can log in to Google Drive here, and all those files that you saved from the Whiteboard software, they're stored onto the Android hardware, the built-in memory. And we have this file manager option that lets you access all those directory files. So we don't lock any of the files. We give you access to all of them. So then you can just upload and edit through there. Can you screencast your iPad to it? Yes, you can. You can't do it natively, but you can definitely do it through a third-party app. There's a lot of Android apps on that Android market where you can have different types of screencasting options, whether it's from an iPad or laptop. I believe you just need to install it onto your iPad to do so. Well, that sums up my webinar for today. I want to thank each and every one of you so much for joining me today. This screencasting, this webinar will be recorded and uploaded on our website. I'll send out a follow-up email with the link to today's recorded lesson, as well as a survey, just for some general feedback. So if you could, please fill out that survey. It's really, really quick, just like 5 questions. All you do is multiple choice, just how your enjoyment was. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address will be emailed out to you guys, and I hope you guys all have a good day.